we have the mainstream media once again admitting that they lied and that we were speaking and telling the truth. So the New York Times published an article finally admitting that a lot of Ukrainian soldiers are wearing Nazi symbols and Nazi patches right now. And, this is a very touchy subject because they've been trying to hide this and deny this for a long time, even though people have been screaming about it, including myself. And let me just go through the article, and I have a lot to say about this. Okay, so let's go through this. So this was posted on or published on June 5th, 2 days ago. It said, in each photograph, Ukrainians in uniforms wore patches featuring symbols that were made notorious by Nazi Germany and have since become part of the iconography of far-right hate groups. So they talk about the photographs that were deleted and so on. I posted many examples of photos posted by official Ukrainian government accounts, and then including Zelensky's, where they had Nazi patches and then deleted them. But in any case, once again, the New York Times finally decided to wake up and join us. So glad of you, so nice of you to come. I'm glad you could join us. Wakey. So they say that the iconography of these groups, including a skull and crossbones patch worn by concentration camp guards, so that's what you would call Totenkopf, right? So the SS Death's Head would wear this symbol. It's a Nazi symbol, straight up. And you had Zelensky's account posting a picture of someone with it. I'll show you in a minute. Sorry, it's just so frustrating because, there's so much to say. But they say that the skull and crossbones and then a symbol known as the Black Sun now appear with some regularity on the uniforms of soldiers fighting on the front line, including soldiers who say the imagery symbolizes Ukrainian sovereignty and pride, not Nazism. Oh, okay, right. So the Black Sun is now Ukrainian, right? Okay, I get it. In the short term, that threatens to reinforce Mr. Putin's propaganda and give fuel to his false claims that Ukraine must be, quote-unquote, denazified, a position that ignores the fact that Ukraine's president, Zelensky, is Jewish. Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. It's one sentence, and yet there are so many lies in here. This is not Putin's propaganda. You, the New York Times, you who wrote this article, are yourself admitting that Ukrainians are wearing Nazi insignia and patches. You, the New York Times. What the hell does this have to do with Putin? Forget Putin. Imagine he didn't exist. Would this not still be true? Are they not wearing these symbols? For the last year, since 2014, pick whatever mainstream outlet you like, BBC, NBC, they all published articles and videos and reports how you have people wearing and celebrating Nazi collaborators and wearing Nazi insignia in Ukraine, and that Ukraine has a Nazi problem, as they would put it. So what the hell does this have to do with Putin? The second thing that they say here is that they say that it's impossible to denazify Ukraine in the first place because the president is Jewish. What? But you just said that there's widespread use of Nazi insignia. Also, Zelensky being Jewish, I don't think, me personally, I don't think Zelensky is a Nazi, and I think he'd be very disgusted by all, this widespread use of insignia. The problem is, though, that he has done nothing about it. I would be ashamed in his shoes to have an armed forces, to have a military that wears this kind of crap. Whether I'm Jewish or Buddhist or whatever the hell. If I were the president of Ukraine, I would be ashamed to have people in my army wearing this shit. Nazi symbols. So why doesn't he do something about it? Why has he done nothing? And I would add another thing. The fact that Zelensky is Jewish has nothing to do with this, because if you look at World War II, you look at the history, you have had Nazi collaborators of every, from every from all walks of life and every background imaginable. Just to give you an example, you had a British division of the SS. When I learned that, I was like, what? A what of a what? Because my grandfather fought in World War II. He's in the Royal Air Force. and my great grandfather fought in World War One in the British Army. So for me, I'm like, how the hell does Britain have how the hell does the SS have a British division? It was a thing, where British nationals would volunteer and become members of the SS and fight with the SS. I think there was like 50. It was only 50 people. That was like the highest number. My point here is that you've had a British division of the SS. You had a Muslim division of the SS. Also, again, I'm like, what the hell? And you had collaborators who were, France. Man, I had a French education, and even the French government, and what I learned as well in school, even from the French, they admit that only 1% of the population actually resisted. So 99% of France did not resist Nazi occupation. That's the French government's own figure. So you had French collaborators, Pétain and Vichy France. You had Jewish collaborators. You've had collaborators of every kind. And I'm not saying Zelensky is a Jewish collaborator. I'm saying that the fact he's Jewish doesn't change that his soldiers are wearing Nazi patches. Why do they keep bringing this up? Who the hell cares what his religion is? As a matter of fact, as I said, the fact that he's Jewish, he should do everything to get rid of this, to stop his soldiers wearing these symbols. Because it is at odds with the fact that he's Jewish and the Nazis killed Jews. Yes, it makes no sense. So he needs to stop his soldiers wearing these patches, period. Okay? Now they say here afterwards that even Jewish groups and anti-hate organizations that have traditionally called out hateful symbols have stayed largely silent. Yeah. Why? Someone explain this to me. Why have they stayed silent? Like, why don't they? Are they afraid of calling Ukrainian soldiers out just because they don't like Russia? Well, that's not good. They should also say something or do something. But especially Zelensky. I don't give a crap what his religion is. The New York Times brought up his religion, so now I'm saying that he should care even more. That's it. Now they say here, it's funny. The New York Times, they say that questions over how to interpret such symbols are as divisive as they are persistent, and not just in Ukraine. And then they bring up the Confederate flag, and then they say the swastika was an important Hindu symbol before it was co-opted by the Nazis. Now, please answer me: are Ukrainians Hindu? No, they're not. At least not the majority. So why the hell are they wearing Nazi symbols? Why are you bringing this up? I know it was a Hindu symbol. Who cares? You're saying yourself it was co-opted by the Nazis. So now it has a new meaning. And there is no issue or question about how to interpret Nazi symbols. Guess what? They're Nazi symbols. They're trash. They're scum. They represent death. They represent murder. They represent fascism. That's it. That's the only way to interpret Nazi symbols. At least in this century, in this day and age. So no, there are no divisive questions. Most of the planet, most of sane people have no qualms about what Nazi symbols are. They're Nazi symbols. So there is no explanation on earth that justifies Ukrainians wearing them, or anyone wearing them. We're talking about the armed forces of a sovereign country, right? They're supposed to be, just as diplomats are, the armed forces are also representative in a way of their country. And this reflects very badly, to put it mildly, I'm putting it very mildly, that you have widespread use of insignia from the Nazis. And the thing is that you're trying to say, oh, it's Hindu. No, it's Nazi. And the thing is that in Ukraine, you have to remember that in Ukraine, you had Stefan Bandera and other people like him who collaborated openly with the Nazis and murdered Poles and murdered Jews. I think the minimum figure is around 100,000 people. So you cannot just talk about this as if it's occurring in a vacuum. You have Ukrainian soldiers in a space station wearing Nazi symbols. No. There are Ukrainian soldiers in Ukraine where Jews were killed, where people were killed and massacred by the Nazis. You cannot leave out this historical context. And there is no issue over how to interpret a black sun. I'm sorry. All right. Maybe the New York Times has difficulty seeing what Nazi symbols are. I don't. And many people don't. Most people don't. They say here they finally admits that Ukraine's defense ministry last month posted a photograph on their Twitter account of a soldier wearing a patch featuring a skull and crossbones, known as the Totenkopf, or Death's Head. So I mentioned that to you earlier. The specific symbol in this picture was made notorious by a Nazi unit that committed war crimes and guarded concentration camps during World War II. You heard that? So that's the Ministry of Defense in Ukraine posting this photo. A guy with a Ukrainian flag right there, you see where my cursor is? And a Totenkopf, a death's head from the SS. I mean, I don't have the words to explain how embarrassing this is, how vile this is. How can you do this? How can you justify this? This is so scandalous. I mean, really scandalous. Down here, they say the New York Times asked the Ukrainian Defense Ministry about this tweet, and several hours later, the post was deleted. So they deleted this photo, but it's archived, so that's how we're able to view it. And it's funny because they say that this is the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They say that after studying this case, we came to the conclusion that this logo can be interpreted ambiguously. No, it's not ambiguous. It's an SS emblem from people who committed mass murder, period. I have no issue interpreting, quote unquote, this symbol. What is this crap response? Do they have no shame? Are they not fucking ashamed? Last month, Ukraine's State Emergency Services Agency posted on Instagram a photograph of an emergency worker wearing a black sun symbol, also known as a Sonnenrad, that appeared in the castle of Heinrich Himmler, the Nazi general and SS director. The black sun is popular among neo-Nazis and white supremacists. In March 2022, NATO's Twitter account posted a photograph of a Ukrainian soldier wearing a similar patch. There it is. This is the exact picture at the time that I exposed to you, that I told you guys about. This picture. NATO. So you got Ukraine's defense ministry, NATO, Zelensky's Telegram account, all posting photos of Ukrainian soldiers with Nazi patches. This alone, just by itself, is absolutely scandalous. It's so scandalous. The words fail me, and I literally speak for a living. In November, during a meeting with Times reporters near the front line, a Ukrainian press officer wore a Totenkopf variation made by a company called Reich. In case that's not obvious to you, Reich is empire in Germany, but this, I think, with a Totenkopf, it's the Third Reich, right? Not the others. So the connotation is very, very clear. It's Nazi. This press officer said he did not believe the patch was affiliated with the Nazis. Oh, really? Oh, really? Wow, you believe that that's nothing to do with Nazis. The company is called Reich, and there's an SS emblem. Wow. Have you picked up a history book in your lifetime? You should try it. It's very illuminating. A second press officer present said that other journalists had asked soldiers to remove the patch before taking photographs. So do you understand? Basically, there's a press officer, this is an official Ukrainian press officer, telling the soldiers to remove their Nazi symbols before the Western press photographed them. You know, as a journalist, I'm not a photojournalist. I do my reporting on video and in writing, but as a journalist in general, whatever medium you choose to work with, but you capture the truth, you expose the truth, and as a photojournalist, you're supposed to capture photos that send a message, as the saying goes. A picture is worth 1,000 words. These are not photos. These are propaganda photographs. Do you understand? Because when you're telling them to hide the patches, you're telling the Ukrainian soldiers to hide their Nazi patches, this is a curated, manipulated image that is made for consumption by the population of the West and the whole world. You are creating propaganda. You are hiding the truth. You are making a curated fake image so people don't find out the truth, which is the entire, it's literally the opposite of everything journalism stands for. I want you guys to understand this, how scandalous this is. How scandalous this is. And the fact that these Western photographers they know that these guys in front of me are hiding the patches, and they don't report it. They don't say it. Usually when you take a photograph, you say, this is blah, 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 from left to right, blah, blah, Mr. This and that, or it was taken on this date in this place. Do you think they bothered to put that in their captions of the photographs that they took? That actually, this is a Ukrainian soldier, but he hid his Nazi patches before I took the photograph. You think they're going to write that? I doubt it. The New York Times go on to say that Russian soldiers in Ukraine have also been seen wearing Nazi-style patches, underscoring how complicated interpreting these symbols can be in a region steeped in Soviet and German history. No, it's not complicated. And if a Russian soldier or an American soldier or Ukrainian soldier is wearing a Nazi patch, it's disgusting. It's a Nazi patch, period. I don't know why they keep repeating this in the article, that, it's so difficult to interpret. It's just, in this region. No. In this region, the Nazis committed mass murder. In this region, you had collaborators, Ukrainian collaborators. Stepan Bandera was given the status of hero in Ukraine, posthumously, right? Awarded the status of hero of Ukraine. Why has that not been revoked? Why is there no, you need to have an honest look at your country's history to understand your country. Just like when I talk to you about British imperialism, I give you the truth. I don't curate it or try to manipulate. It's brutal, and I tell you it's brutal, and it's savage, and it's evil, right? But, Britain is an amazing country, has done amazing things, but there are some parts, and especially recent British history, of colonialism, of invading. This is scandalous, and I don't leave that out. I don't manipulate it. I just tell you the truth. So you need to look at your own country's history honestly. You have to be honest with yourself, with your country, and with your compatriots. When you deny that there was collaboration between Ukrainians and Nazis, this is bad for your own country. You have to have an honest look at your own country. That's it. You have to do that. Here, they got photographs of Ukrainian soldiers with more patches and so on, right? And they say the units like the Da Vinci Wolves, the better-known Azov Regiment, and others that began with far-right members have been folded into the Ukrainian military and have been instrumental in defending Ukraine from Russian troops. Yeah, but that doesn't change their nature. You're telling me that, they defended Ukraine from Russian troops and that makes them good. No, the fact that the Ukrainian military folded these units, basically integrated Azov or Da Vinci Wolves into the official Ukrainian armed forces is a scandal. That's the sentence. Have I fixed it for you? Should I repeat it again? Pathetic. Really pathetic. Here, I posted this last year. This was on 17th of May, 2022. When Zelensky, because, as a president, you have basically official accounts. So he has one on Twitter, he has one on Telegram, etc. And on Telegram, Zelensky's official account posted this picture of, what do you know? It's a Ukrainian soldier wearing a Nazi symbol. Specifically, as you can see with my cursor, this is the Totenkopf, the skull and crossbones. It's a Nazi symbol. And a few minutes later, Zelensky deleted the photo, or his staffer deleted the photo, and they posted something else. And the thing that makes this even more insulting, like if this wasn't bad enough, right? Just to add insult to injury, this was on VE Day. So VE Day is Victory Europe Day. It's celebrated every year on 8th of May. The Russians celebrate it on 9th of May. But in England, we celebrate it on 8th of May, because 8th of May 1945 was victory over Nazi Germany in Europe. Okay, so you're posting you're posting Nazi symbols, and also on VE Day. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Words fail me. But this was Zelensky's official account. I found the post, and he deleted it afterwards, as he certainly should. But, maybe fix your soldiers. Maybe go fix your military. Just a suggestion. And then here they were trying to basically, this is in the Times, they were trying to peddle the Azov regiment as, oh, look, they're rebranding themselves and they're good now and they've dropped the Nazi Wolfsangel symbol. And the funny thing is that they were still wearing the symbol. You can see this guy on the right. He literally has the symbol on his t-shirt at the ceremony where they are removing it from their patches. Well, what's the point of that if it's gone from the patches, but it's still on your chest? It's still a Nazi symbol. It doesn't change, the fact that it's Nazi. And here, that PBS, I posted about this as well. When did I do this? This was on 4th of March, 2022. Christ, it's like, barely 2 weeks after the war escalated. So here you have a Ukrainian mayor giving an interview on PBS, and in the background, they've blurred it. I think he blurred it with his software. You can do that now with Skype and so on. And my point is that even though they blurred it, you can still see behind him, there's a portrait hanging of Stefan Bandera, who was a Nazi collaborator. And he's the guy who received a hero of Ukraine status. So not only, it's not like they left the guy's memory and his Nazi collaboration alone and tried not to bring it up. No. They're saying this guy is a hero. He's exalted posthumously. Even after his death, we view him as a hero instead of saying this guy killed 100,000 people. He killed Jews and he killed Poles, which is what you should do. Why isn't Zelensky doing that? Why does this mayor have a portrait of a Nazi collaborator behind him? I've never seen someone hanging a portrait of Pétain, while they're giving an interview. I mean, they don't even have any, there's no shame. There's no self-respect to even hide the goddamn thing, like to hide it while he's giving the interview and put it back up. I mean, it wouldn't make him a better person, but no shame. There's like no shame. It's like, here I am, and notice the Nazi logo or the Nazi collaborator. What do you say about this? What do you make of this? People think that because you bring this up, we are reporting. I am reporting to you. I'm doing my job. I have to do this, and I have to bring this up, and I have been talking about this issue well before the New York Times, who are late to the party. The point is that, they think that because you expose this, that you are supporting Putin's denazification of Ukraine. I don't give a crap about Putin, and I don't give a crap what he calls, the war in Ukraine. I really don't give a crap. I could not care less. I do care, though, that you have NATO-funded and NATO-backed soldiers that are being trained by the British Army, that are being given weapons by the United Kingdom, and they wear Nazi insignia. That I do give a shit about. I do care about that. And it's my right and my duty to care about that. Everybody should care about this. Why are we giving weapons and money to people who wear Nazi logos? I don't give a crap if it's 1% or 0.5% of Zelensky's military. Why are they wearing these things? There is no excuse to wear Nazi fucking insignia and paraphernalia. Period. That's it. That's all I have to say. What more could I say?